Here's an article in the New York Times that caught our attention. There has never been a better time to be short.
Yay!
Debbie's cheer. Well, hold on.
Oh,
This is
my
an article
goodness.
written by Mara Altman, who apparently is unbelievable. Well, I wouldn't say unbelievably short. She's 5 feet even.
Well, hello. Yeah, twins.
Yeah. And then she goes, my husband, who's 5'6".
Okay, well, yeah, there you go.
Well, anyway, so let's discover what are these great virtues of being short.
Yeah.
She goes, short is better, and it is the future. And as you read the article, this is when you have to start chuckling, because she begins by saying the short are inherent conservationists. Presumably, she goes, they eat less, they drink less water, and they apparently breathe less. They don't breathe as vehemently as people who are large and tall. So according to her, the planet does 87 million tons of food.
Oh my goodness.
Trillions of gallons of water, and also they produce less trash.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and she goes on to say that she makes a kind of a Darwinian argument, which I think is actually untrue, by the way, that somehow being short is conducive to survival because your needs are less. So think if you're operating in a scarce environment and there's a smaller quantity of food, and you've got a bunch of short guys, they're going to be like, yeah, that's plenty for us because we're short, we don't need much, right? Whereas presumably the other side of it, of course, is that people who are bigger and larger can hunt more animals. They probably are stronger. And so the benefits of consuming less on the part of the short people is more than overridden by the survival advantages of the large, the tall, and the strong. Yeah. By the way, here we go. When you mate with shorter people, you're potentially saving the planet by shrinking the needs of subsequent generations. So not only, so you're basically creating a bunch of shorties. Yeah. You're reducing the average size of the human race, right?
Apparently so.
And then she goes on to say, this is the kind of common fallacy you hear all the time. There are some short people who thrive and do phenomenally well and lead fantastic lives, and there are some tall people who are miserable. Well, I think this is like saying that there are some women who are shorter, who are taller than men, but that doesn't change the overall fact.
Why don't you ask this short person what she thinks?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Okay. All right.
I seem to be giving you the short shrift. So why don't you weigh in on the benefits of short people?
So I don't know how many people know how short I am. I guess those of you that have seen me, right, know how short I am. But I always claim to be 5'1", right? But I'm actually only 5 3/4. So I'm slightly taller than 5 feet, but not by a lot.
Well, I think you can always tell which way people want to be by looking at where they exaggerate. So, for example, I'm 5'9". I'm just 5'9". I would love to be 5'10". Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And in fact, when I was younger, But
I've never heard you say you're 5'10", whereas I've said I'm 5'1".
Right. I noticed that guys who are like 5'7" always claim they're 5'8" or 5'9". Yeah. People don't like to be built. 5'9" is the average, so I don't really mind.
To be honest, I've never liked being short. I don't know what this woman's talking about. Being short, in my opinion, like, for example, clothes. Oh my goodness. It's really hard to find pants.
Number one, yes.
Number one, it's really hard to find shirts that have sleeves that don't go down to like past my fingers, right? Because when they make clothes, now that, when they make petite sizes, they do that. But when you don't buy petite clothes, they make them for regular sized 5'4", 5'5" women. And there are some inches that are, obviously different, right? So,
well, you also have to reach for things. I notice in the closet you're often standing on a ladder or you have a stick.
Often, always, okay?
Right. So that's a disadvantage.
I always, and you know that we have to have a step stool in the kitchen and in the pantry and in the laundry room, everywhere.
Well, another thing that you say, I'm just quoting you here. Yeah. You say that the disadvantage of being short is that it's really easy to gain a pound.
Oh my gosh.
And it shows on you.
So when she talks about the fact that short people eat less, we have to eat less, because if we eat like normal people, we would be 300 pounds. So, so yeah, there's a reason for that. But
I mean,
I
Debbie
think,
will say, you know,
yeah.
I didn't lose an ounce.
Oh,
and Debbie is
that is so
unbelievably
frustrating.
disciplined in her eating habits.
Super frustrating.
On the other hand, I eat, well, sometimes pretty
well,
voraciously.
You have extra 9 inches.
Well, there you
know
go.
what I mean?
That's what I mean,
So
yes.
that makes a big difference. But the funny thing is that she makes this the case for saving the planet, which is really this is where I got the chuckle, because you know what? Short people got nobody. Short people got.
Well,
but apparently to her, we got everybody.
What seems to be a really strange phenomenon of our time is that people take things that have by and large been seen as undesirable. And they've been seen as undesirable for the simple reason that they are. Things like being, well, I'm just saying, why would somebody want to be stunted or like morbidly obese or like ridiculously ugly? I mean, look, some people are ugly, and the point is I wouldn't want to make fun of it or attack it, but it's not a virtue. So what really gets me is when someone takes something like that and goes, this is the season to be ugly.
Look, no, but I think for her, because she doesn't like being short, she has to make it a virtue.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, but the problem with being short is that, but she's not saying that it's like what I said, you know, the clothing and all those things. She's actually saying that it will save the planet if you're short, and you should try to procreate and have children that are short, because, you know, ultimately short people are going to save the planet.
Right, and I guess what I'm saying is it's a rationalization. In a very different way, you find the same thing with people who are morbidly obese. Obviously, it's bad for you. Obviously, it's not good for society either. It imposes costs on society in all kinds of ways. But nevertheless, you've got this sort of fat esteem movement. And even sometimes if I say something even slightly, off the reservation, you kind of warn me and you like, don't go there, Dinesh. You might want to stay off that topic and so on. And because I guess I don't want a really fat person sitting on my head. Right? I could pay dearly for my fatophobic remarks.
Bye.